I'm Dorothy Reid.
Maureen Donlan.
Marg Stebbins.
Judy Living.
I've been here 64 years.
I was born here and then I came back in 1968 as a teacher and I've been here ever since.
I was born here. I moved to Watcham for a few years and came back.
I was born in Birchip. I grew up here. I was away for about 10 years studying and travelling, and I've been back here for 50 years.
Yeah, we've known each other
At school
forever,
together.
really. At school, when we were kids, probably primary.
Yes.
So Dorothy and I always sort of knew there was this bit of a connection when we actually met up as teachers. Well, it's a bit like we're not related, but we're related, aren't we?
Yeah. Almost sisters in bondage.
My great-grandparents settled here in 1882, and we've had family farms since then. I've run hardware with my husband for 26 years and worked at the hospital for 20 years before that. So I had a fair bit to do with the community.
And my whole family have lived here, and we've been here all our lives. My cousins, aunties, uncles, grandparents, the whole lot. Yeah. Now we're grandparents and great-grandparents, and we're still here.
My grandparents came here in 1913, I think. I was born here because we lived in little towns with no hospitals, and then I came back here to teach in 1968, and I finished teaching about 6-7 years ago.
I was sent here as a teacher early month of 1958. I was away for 2 years after that, then came back here and married into the Reid family. My husband's grandfather settled at Birchip in 1883, then bought another block at Birchip West, and that area is still in the name of some of the Reid family. So it's been 4 generations actually, still farming on the same area. And one of the first things I was told when I came here, don't say anything about anybody because one half's related to the other half. Not knowing that's how I would finish up.
Yeah, and it's true.
Same with
It's
Maureen.
Yeah.
Back after the New York Stock Exchange crash, a lot of farmers were in trouble because they'd bought machinery and didn't have much income and were having trouble paying it off. And there was a league formed in Birchip to help farmers like that. And one of my relatives was on that league, Birchip Protection League, I think it was called. And they went to the sale where these people were being sold up, and they kept the bidding low. And the auctioneers obviously didn't know what it's all worth, so they ended up, the farmers got their land back and got their machinery back at a very low price because they'd worked together like that.
For people to go away on holidays, you looked after each other's place, their chooks, their milking cow, their dogs, things like that. And there was always that trust behind everything. And quite often, like if you did share farming, it was more or less a handshake agreement. You didn't have to have big legal contract or anything. Everybody trusted each other, no matter where they came from.
Mum was more the stay-home person and she made the scones to go to everything that was on, and Dad was sort of in that, and his thing was, get out and do something. Don't see a thing and not help fix it up, make it better. That was just how we were sort of brought up, so it's just something, it's in you, I suppose.
When someone says Birchip was going backwards, we need this to happen, I think that's not true. In a fabulous school, daycare, kindergarten, why would you think it's going back? It's
No empty shops.
No empty shops. It's fabulous. The community has just been about family. It's gone from great-grandparents to grandparents all the way down. And that's what it's doing now. Laurie and I are the great-grandparents. And I've got my daughters here. My granddaughter just round the corner. I think I've got the best life. I don't want to lose it. It's very sad because it has created divide already. and you suddenly start to look at friends and neighbours differently, and you think, how could you do this? I can just describe it as being very sad. It's never happened before, really, and to think we're divided. We are divided.
But when I'm sort of looking at having to check out a couple of names, and normally you would just go straight to whoever you thought was their relative, but now I'm sort of thinking, what side of the picture are they on? It just makes you wary of asking people things, whereas normally you are looking up a picture trying to find the names of people in it or something. You just go straight to anybody that you thought would know. And I just think that's going to be really hard if we've got to be wondering, isn't it, Dorothy? Because, we do a lot of, we can think of a lot of detectives, and we look for every little snippet to help us find out some things, and just sort of think, oh, we won't ask that family, or we'll skip them. I just find that really awful to see families splitting and friends not talking to one another. That's just not what we taught people to be like. It was to be kind, to look out for each other, and that's, I hope they'd have happy families and progress. And I just hate the thought of that. Makes me feel like I didn't do my job properly somehow. You need that reliance on, if something went wrong, that you could go and just call on that neighbour or whatever, and know that they'd sort of try to help you out, and that you would like to think that your neighbours could call on you, just without that suspicion and angst.
Dig up prime farmland to put these things on. It will never be rejuvenated. It will never come back, no matter what they tell you. It's just craziness.
With the wind turbines, if they come, it's going to kill thousands of birds, but it's also bats that eat the insects, and for cropping, people are going to find that there'll be more insects eating their crops because you haven't got the bats and a lot of insect birds to eat those insects. In England, they got rid of a lot of hedges and then discovered that they were paying astronomical prices for insecticide because getting rid of the hedges got rid of all the little insect-eating birds. And so they had to bring them back again. I don't know how wide a scale it's happened on, but that's what happens when man interferes with nature or the old practices. For climate change, we have to do these things, but in my mind it's causing more damage, especially to the biodiversity.
Living in the Mallee, Wimmera, you know that if you get 5 good years, you might get 5 bad years. That's just how it's always been. Other farmers survived them. They did survive them. And why can't we survive them again now? We've had good years, really good years. If you did what the old farmers did and put some money aside and you saved for that rainy day, you were prepared. They don't want to go through hard times. They haven't. And not being awful, a lot of them haven't been through those hard times. It was their grandfathers and their fathers that have been through those hard times. But they've gone through those hard times to give them a good life. It wasn't easy. I'd like to think we fight to keep the lifestyle we've got.